Hi, welcome to this video regarding my most recent certifications with DBT, Snowflake, and Apache Airflow. I've decided to come back to my data career here at the beginning of 2024 and upgrade my skills to put myself in a position to be able to manage and administrate databases, especially working with cloud providers. And in so doing, after having built some of my own pipelines and data tools and gotten a better grasp for the concepts. I'm now ready to use the accepted and industry standard data platforms, which make things so easy to work with your data. The DBT fundamental certification gave me some great experience with this data platform. It was my first time working with DBT, learning about DBT, and what DBT basically is a SQL based data pipe and version controlled data pipeline for your workflow. It allows you to connect to your existing data warehouse, define the source tables that you're drawing data from, and then create models using infrastructure as code YAML files to create staging tables, and then finally the final models or views that you're going to be using for to power your dashboards in your machine learning models, etc. So you go from sources, stages to models through this, or final models through this directed acyclic graph. And when you are testing your data pipeline, it will ensure that the upstream sources are verified based on the test that you define before moving on to running and then testing your downstream sources, because there's no sense in doing that if there's a problem upstream. So for more complicated data pipelines and use cases, this technology would be perfect. Uh, and you can run all of your tests and everything in a development environment before uh, updating your main branch of your GitHub repository and including it in the deployment environment where you'll run the build command, and it will summon up the tables and views and then test them, move on to the next stage of your acyclic graph, directed graph, and test them moving down the line until your data pipeline has been updated. So a couple of other things about the DBT ecosystem is it allows you to check the freshness of your data sources and either warn or error depending on the last time that the table was updated. That's something, a configuration that you can set in the YAML file, and that's just about it. It's seems pretty straightforward for me. It distinguished the two concepts of version control in your application development and version control in your data pipelines. And by using SQL and simple YAML files, infrastructure as code files, uh, you can make everything look easy with DBT. After learning about DBT, I went on to take some certifications with Snowflake. Uh, the data warehousing certification gave me some of the basics for working with Snowflake, which serves as a data warehouse, obviously. Um, it allows you to very simply create new databases, new schemas, assign permissions, to different roles or accounts after you've created your user profile. And it's very simple to copy data over from cloud-based storage into your data warehouse with Snowflake by means of something called a stage. So first, you'll set up a file format of how you have standardized the data format in your source. Maybe it's streaming data. You're running cron jobs, batch jobs or streaming jobs to load up into your data storage. And then from the cloud-based data storage, copying it over into Snowflake is really a breeze. Um, you define the stage by means of looking into the bucket. If you need credentials, it all goes in there. Snowflake manages it all, and you just copy it into the table. The third certification I took was also with Snowflake. It was the collaboration, marketplace, and cost estimation workshop with Snowflake. In this in this workshop, I learned how to become a data provider and how to consume data from the Snowflake marketplace, either free data or with paid subscriptions. And so, in this workshop, we set up two different organizations, sort of within my account, um, or networked with my account, and I was able to provide data to one organization And from that organization, they were able to call a function from a third organization which had reference data. So the third organization, without revealing its proprietary data or the logic behind its function, I believe, the second organization was able to use the data that they had of their own inventory, basically, to reference using this third data provider some extra information that they needed to run their operations. So Snowflake seems like a great option for small business, scaling all the way to probably large business as well. I know a lot of corporations use Snowflake as their data warehouse, so it seems very cost affordable. Setting up your own servers, worker machines, you can do Elastic stuff, but very often you're going to be using a warehouse size that is suitable for your needs, and it integrates so well with other cloud providers that it seems a dream to work with for someone like me who's been struggling through the muck to try to bootstrap it up myself, and super excited to be able to leverage this technology in the future. So the first certification that I took was for Apache Airflow. I did the Airflow 101 concepts training course, and then took the Airflow fundamentals certification. There was great learning materials in that course, very to the point. There's a lot to cover. Um, Airflow is a technology, as you might or might not know, that schedules jobs for you. It offers a significant and extensive amount of providers to create connections to other cloud-based platforms, data storage, and data warehousing to perform compute operations. And it functions on a premise of creating a directed acyclic graph for a specific data pipeline or task, scheduling that job on a certain cadence, if it's daily or weekly or hourly, something like that, or alternatively to trigger the task flow based on certain types of sensors that you can set up. Uh, you can mount local functions, modules, and packages to do transformations on your data if it's within your own sort of cluster. Alternatively, you can execute tasks on Snowflake or on DBT, I believe, using an Airflow directed acyclic graph. So there's lots of ways to check how your tasks have been running. Look for bottlenecks in your workflows. You can backfill for time ranges long before, or you can catch up based on your start date and iterate through your your data warehouse basically to do transform jobs, other kinds of things, loading jobs, pull data from APIs, etc. It seems like Airflow is basically built around this idea of scheduling and automating tasks, which I really appreciate. When you are running Airflow on your local environment, it sets up these 4 Docker containers for you. The metadata database, which in this case is Postgres, the triggerer, so the executor of the jobs, I believe, the scheduler, and the web server. The web server spins up a UI up here where you can, create variables within the UI, but there's, I believe, 4 different places that you can create environment variables. You can pass some small amount of data to the next job in your task using XComs, using the metadata database, but it's not recommended to transfer data through that. Airflow is really just the sort of not an orchestrator, but it's a scheduler, and it offers sensors and triggers that let you either poke or reschedule jobs. Be on the lookout for updated data in your data storage, and then once that data is available, to trigger a transformation job or an output job. I really enjoyed this course. Excited to use Airflow in the future. Should it be necessary.